ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पाञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, संस्कृतम की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल जय। So Hare Krishna, you all can see my screen, I guess, right? Okay, so let's get started. Welcome everybody for today's session. Thank you for taking the time on this Saturday morning, 6:30, to spend some time learning about, this our new course, what preparing the mood. That's what we entitled it as. So basically, session one. Today we are in the session one, preparing the mood. Like what should be our mood while we are going to take this year-long course. What should be uh, our mentality. That's what briefly I'm going to talk about, and what is required to make the best of this course. Like in the sense, our desire is to learn how to understand the shlokas, but there is some practical things we need to do. So what are they? All this we will touch upon today. Okay, and my name is Śyāmalā dāsī, in case you have not noticed so far. Hare Krishna. Okay, so agenda for today, we are going to discuss all this in the sequence. First, we will do an offering of gratitude to our Gurujanas who have been kind of or rather encouraging this particular course from since long time for some people actually. So we want to offer a gratitude and seek their blessings in this journey. And briefly, I'll talk about our Sanskrit journey. There are some things we can learn, like especially the how tough it was for us to gain this knowledge. So from that, we can kind of appreciate how easily now it's been available for us. So we can take the best use of the advantage or the opportunity we are being given. And then some inspirations from my M.A studies. And then we'll also take a peek at how traditionally Sanskrit is learned and taught, and what would be the approach. We cannot do that traditionally now. Then what are we doing actually, and what are we going to achieve, and to what extent are we getting into the Sanskrit? Actually, it's an ocean. It takes actually many lifetimes to perfect any language. Forget about Sanskrit actually. So all we are going to do in this 1 year is just get into the first stage. That's it. So that with that foundation, we can kind of take rest of our lives uh, to swim in the ocean of our literatures and enhance our knowledge of the language. So that's the approach we're going to take. and what should be the mood and mission. There's a mission behind this actually. So this course is not ending, or this learning is not ending in a year. So there is a vision ahead of that. So I would like to share a piece of my heart in that regard, and some logistics, like how everything is organized, what you need to do, practical point of view, and what I need from you for your successful learning. And then finally you conclude it. Okay. So what we'll do initially, I will be speaking. So you can make a note of any questions you have, anything I missed. So then at the end, I will open up for any questions or discussions. So that way we can have a steady flow of thought initially. Okay. Okay, let's begin. Offering of gratitude. So first, let's offer our respects to Maharshi Panini Maharshi. There are so many Vyakaranas. Vyakarana is nothing but a grammar, actually. It's called grammar for a language. So every language has a grammar as to, like, grammar dictates what is a sadhu shabda, what is the proper correct way of using the language, and also apashabda nivaranam. It also guides us, like, don't use this way, do use that way. So basically do's and don'ts, kind of like our rules and regulations, right? So the grammar, it kind of creates a boundary around the language. What is the way we need to use, and how should we do it properly? So there were so many grammars earlier to Panini Maharshi also, but Panini Maharshi, understanding the stage of the Kali Yuga, how difficult it is, he has codified in his grammar called Ashtadhyayi, actually 8 chapters. Ashtanam Adhyayanam Samahara iti Ashtadhyayi. So it's the collection of 8 chapters. So it's a samasta padam, or compound word, Ashtadhyayi. So in these 8 chapters, which is almost about 4,000 sutras, they're called sutras. Sutras are coded statements, very, very short statements. Like we know Vedanta Sutra, right? Athato Brahma Jignasa. There's just a small statement, but there is so much to unpack. So similarly, he has created the sutras, just 4,000 of them, by which he actually compiled both the Vedic grammar as well as Laukika grammar. Laukika grammar is what we use day in and day out in speaking. But Vedika grammar is the grammar in the Vedas, actually. So he even explained that part. So his mission was very, very broad. And even now, to date, people study very traditionally. There is I will come to it in traditional learning, how children learn how to approach the subject. We'll talk about it. So we are very grateful that he has given a very scientific and logical system, actually. It's so wonderful, actually, that, and also so rich. It is said that if somebody can understand, crack Vyakarana into end, there's nothing in this world they cannot, understand. It's such a highly logical framework which tests our brain to the highest extent, actually. That's why children should be given the chance to get into Sanskrit field early on, so that their brain becomes big and they can actually use it even for their academic studies. Okay, so then we'll offer our respects to our Acharya Tilak Rao Mahodaya, who taught us Vyakarana in 4 semesters during our MA subjects. He has traditionally learned this in a Gurukula for many years, and he learned many other Shastras also, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, and many other things. And he was so wonderful in the sense that he can actually understand English also. In the first semester, when we were all struggling to learn, our MA was taught in Sanskrit. So basically we are learning Sanskrit subject in Sanskrit. So, and some of us were new to the language, so we were like, when we have posed questions we have to ask in English. So but then he can understand English, but he obviously, they are trained in talking in Sanskrit, so they answer back in Sanskrit. But he used all the modern tools to make it easy, like he created charts, diagrams, everything. So kind of he stepped away, or rather modernized the traditional learning for the current audience using PPTs and everything. So it was a very wonderful experience. I really loved the learning, and I even, yeah, so nice, actually, so nice. So we are very grateful that somehow I could learn from him. And we'll offer our respects to our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, founder of ISKCON, who has brought all of us together. He has given this society so we can all learn Krishna consciousness together and learn subjects which can enhance our Krishna consciousness together. So unless he created the society, how would we know each other actually? So, all our respects to Srila Prabhupada and our respects to our Srila Gurudev, our spiritual master, who has given the seed in our heart actually way back in 13 years ago, actually, when our kids were born. So when I talk about our Sanskrit journey, I will talk briefly about that as well, how it all went kind of flew. And then respects to His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj. Maharaj was very kind that actually just minutes before, or rather days before the new ISKCON news articles were published, somehow Maharaj kind of, we had a chat with Maharaj and I shared that I'm starting this class. And actually Maharaj knew us just from beginning of our Krishna consciousness from 2004. Actually, he knows us in and out. He knows he was part, he knows when we got married, when we had kids, everything. And he was so kind, broad-minded that he always gave us shiksha, always took us under his care and always encouraged and appreciated. And we met recently also 3 years back in Shringeri, and Maharaj understood what we are doing with our boys, homeschooling, everything, and he had really encouraged. And he kind of I think many of you came from that forum where he shared among all his disciples about this program. And in a way, he's kind of expressing his desire that maybe his disciples should learn and become more help, which could help them in their journey. And then our great respects and offering gratitude to His Grace Haripashad Prabhuji, who actually was a beacon in Sanskrit within our society, really to speak, actually. He was holding the staff of Sanskrit very firmly without even telling people that you have to learn Sanskrit. Just by the way he goes deep into the Shastras and explains, everybody gets a taste. Oh, I wish I can also study like this. So that culture was not there earlier. I could say to that myself, like, even though I knew Hindi earlier, I came to Krishna consciousness, of course, in US. Then I probably got into the Western civilization, whatever it is. That even while I was reading Bhagavatam shlokas, I used to jump into diacritic version, forgetting and also not caring to how to pronounce. Even though I knew it, I could do it diligently. Maybe it's, of course, my own lack of Krishna consciousness. Also, maybe it's a lack of emphasis or encouragement overall, in um, what is the importance of uttering Sanskrit shlokas properly and everything like that in a way. So he kind of created that culture. That's the reason, I would say this course has started by him maybe a few years back, and I'm just assisting in, make his desire come true. That's what I would see my contribution as. And also this Krishna Priya Mataji, she's ISKCON news editor. Promptly, we had a conversation, and then she documented everything in this nice article which went around, and many people got to know about the vision and mood, and many of you might have joined through that. So our gratitude to all these people who have encouraged us so far. And last but not the least, my humble family. They say that behind every man is a successful woman. Sorry, behind every successful woman, man is a woman. Behind a woman who's trying to do beyond her family duties and trying to do something to society, there is a family who is sacrificing something actually and allowing the person to do. So please keep them also in your prayers that they continue to support this entire year so we can uh, have a seamless journey. So yeah, let's begin now. What is a little briefly about our Sanskrit journey? So this actually, our journey, as I mentioned, started almost 13 years back when the twins were born. So they brought Sanskrit into our life. In a way, I would always talk about it like that. Because actually, when they were born, our Guru Maharaj, Indradimna Swami Maharaj, gave them the names. And he told that they will, with the names, he kind of gave a blessing or a indication or instruction. He said that they will become Sanskrit scholars, they will become preachers, and they will become great soldiers in Lord Chaitanya's movement. So we were really surprised, actually. We, of course, we didn't expect anything, but we were like, oh wow, it's going to happen like this. And anyway, we were lost for a few years trying to take care of the twins together. And even though I quit my job, it was too handful.
And for a few years, 3 years, we sent in Seattle, just taking care of them. Then we moved to Houston when they were about to 3, because we wanted to send them to school, because they're becoming very, very, what to say, active. I cannot keep them just at home. So then we moved to Houston, and they started going to the devotee school there in Houston. Then that is 2016. And but then and of course, as what I'm trying to tell is, this instruction or the blessing was not a forefront in our focus, because we were lost in taking care of, or rather immersed in taking care of them. But then destiny has to call, right? So but intuitively, somehow we felt we have to do something about it. Instruction will remain instruction unless we dedicate ourselves to do something about it. So at the corner of our mind, we also felt, if they were to go to the Sanskrit traditional sorry, Sanskrit learning, obviously we have to come back to India, because that's where the traditional systems of learning happen. So always it was in our mind that we want to move back after. So I went to US in 2001. So basically, so then in 2018, we wanted to make a first visit to India to figure out what are the schools and anything where we should move, so that they can start a systematic learning of Sanskrit. So in that visit, we met Bharat Chandra Prabhu, many of you may know, where actually he kind of indicated kids by the time they're 6 year old, they should fluently read and write Sanskrit. So when I went back after the trip to Houston at that time, this thing was struck. It's like I was working still, and kids were going to the devotee school there. So I felt like they were already 5.5 years. So then I felt, oh, how can I accomplish this? He said by 6 years they need to learn, read, write Sanskrit, and they're already 5.5 years. They're going to miss the boat. And until that time, they were only speaking English, even though we know multiple languages, because my husband is from Kannada background, Karnataka, and I am Telugu. So we used to talk in English at home. And obviously in US, in school also they talk English. The only language they knew was English. So then how am I going to do this? Then, but somehow that inspiration stayed with me. Krishna gave guidance, and I knew Hindi. So I thought, oh, let me figure out the difference in the lipi and start teaching them. So then I started teaching them the Sanskrit alphabet when they're 5.5 years old, along with their friends. We used to do a batch, because they were so small. They wouldn't accept me as a teacher. They know me only as a mother who gives them food. So I had to do a lot of gimmicks to make it happen. But within 2 months, they learned the alphabet, actually, in a very fun, loving way, without any pressure. It's so nice. So that's how they started their Sanskrit journey. And then I realized, and they took 1 year using Bhagavad Gita. We made them fluent in reading, writing Sanskrit within 1 year. And then I realized their Sanskrit interest was growing, actually. That then, to fuel that, I felt, okay, I need to study and teach them. So that's how Sanskrit came into my life. It's like to serve the instruction our spiritual master gave. Then finally, even though we were doing all this, eventually in 2020, we moved permanently back to India. Um, Figuring out, first initially we landed in Mayapur. Then somehow things happened that eventually our Sanskrit learning also became intense, in the sense we were observing closely, are the kids picking up naturally or everything. Then based on how they responded, we were actually going ahead step by step. And the funny thing is that, so we returned back to India after 20 years. Like 2001, I moved to US. 2021, we moved back. So 20 years, things changed, and we didn't have any contact in India, especially in the Sanskrit field. Even devotees, we didn't have contact, nothing. So it's like a real adventure to figure out, how to do this journey for kids. And all I can say is just the blessings and maybe Krishna's, empowerment, that we just went step by step. He always showed us the next path. What is next? What is next? Finally, in 1 year we spent in Mathur. There is a village called Sanskrit village, where they all talk in Sanskrit. So then we reached there, and the one teacher in that school, he told that, if you move here, we'll give you the education for your kids. Until that time, they were learning online or something, whatever I could teach. And all I realized was that they are actually going way ahead. And we understood that I cannot be learning and teaching them, because kids have a lot of potential to pick up anything very early on. So, and obviously, I'm learning at such an elderly age, and
it's not going to match. So then we are really looking for a proper teacher to teach them. So I can just support them. That's it. So we went to Mathur, where we spent 1 year. Kids finished their seventh grade at that time, and during that time, the teacher in the school, they said that, okay, anyway, you're also free, right? Why don't you join a 10th level course? Anyway, kids are studying. You also join. It will help you in your teaching your kids. I said, okay, anyway, I was doing my Bhakti Vaibhav, I was working, and I thought, okay, that's all my, and I was taking care of we are homeschooling, and then we are supporting their education. I thought that's it. But then, because he said join, I said, okay, let's join. What is there? I will also learn something. So then I started attending this course, which was almost like 8 months or something, which is like a 10th grade level exam, actually. But it covered a lot of fundamentals of Sanskrit grammar. Actually, that's what we are going to cover in this course, actually. So that gave me entry little bit more into Sanskrit. Then what happened was, in 2022, we went to Kartik Parikrama. Our Guru Maharaj takes us to Kartik Parikrama. At the end, I still remember that place. This called um, Kadamba Kandi. It's called Jiva Goswami's Bhajana Stali. There, Srila Gurudev gave the lecture, and he told at the end, these are Kalpavriksha trees. All of you, you hug these trees and you pray how you can be an instrument in Lord Chaitanya's mission. So we try to sincerely follow that instruction. We did it whatever sincerity we have. And usually nothing major happens in our lives. Things go on, right? So we finished the Kartik Parikrama, we went back to Mathur. Then what happened was, for a few days, I was feeling very, kind of disturbed, or something was bothering in the heart. I'm not able to understand what it is. Something was bothering. So then I I stood with it, and like I was chanting and processing, what is exactly is my problem, or what exactly is bothering. Everything is good, we are helping Gurudev's instruction. Kids are happy. We are all happy. My husband is there. He quit his job. So everything is okay. What is bothering me? Then slowly I understood that, okay, I'm dedicating my entire life for these kids to fulfill this instruction. That's good. We left everything in the US, we sold the house, everything, and we came and we are doing this. It's very nice. Okay, I will get benefit, but soon these boys, especially boys, become independent. They will have their own wings and they'll start flying out. They will maybe preach or go everywhere. So what am I going to do? What is my contribution to the society? What am I going to do rest of my life? How I'm going to serve the mission. Then I felt, yeah, exactly, that's a real problem. I need to think ahead. I cannot, at that point, when kids are old, I cannot really work on anything at that point on, right? So then this idea, this kind of thought came. Now that's a problem. Now what's the solution? So then again, a few days we were praying. Then somehow it just got revealed that, okay, you have everything already there. You already have experience teaching kids from childhood how to raise them in a Sanskrit, how to give them Sanskrit gradually, systematically, such that they get the taste for it. So all you do is do that with other kids. That's it. Said, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yes, that it's natural for me. I love teaching. I love kids, and so yeah, that fits in very well with my interests as well as this thing. Then I realized, if I just do this 10th level exam and say I'm going to teach your kids, nobody will, accept me as a teacher. So I need to get a proper degree so that people feel, we are learning from a credible teacher. So then I decided at that time to pursue M.A Studies, actually. So actually, that's the same time we had to move from Mathur to Sringeri, because the teacher who took responsibility for our kids, he moved to Sringeri. And he told that, if you come here, I will help your kids. I said, okay, we don't have any option. We are relying on you. And then we moved to Sringeri. Then at that same time, kids were actually doing the Kavya exam, which I finished just then, which is like 10th grade level exam. They were doing when they were 9.5 years. They're beginning at 9.5, they finished at 11.5. And then simultaneously, I was doing my M.A studies. So it was really intense period because kids were studying. We had a very intense curriculum. I was also studying, and but somehow because of my husband's strong support, we were able to pull through this period successfully. Everybody, kids also got nice score, and I also kind of got learning a little bit. So now we are at the M.A studies. So let's see what I have learned from M.A studies. Actually, it was quite wonderful, this one. First of all, let's briefly touch upon the syllabus. So there are each semester, we had, of course, 4 semesters. It's a proper MA, like, in India, it's very intense. In US, the same curriculum were offered at a 4-year program, but in India, we had to do 2-year program. So we took like 3 courses of Sahitya. Sahitya is nothing but literature, like basically Raghuvamsha, Nataka, and, Kavya, Prakasha, and all these subjects. Little bit we touched upon. And there were 4 courses of Vyakarana. In all the semesters, we had a Vyakarana, actually. Very intense, in-depth studies of Vyakarana taught in Sanskrit by our Acharya Tilakrao Mahodaya, and it was very, very wonderful. And I did 2 courses in Vedanta, basic as well as advanced. In the Vedanta courses, they covered 3 Vedantas, basically Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Dvaita. So any concept they take, they were covering from all these 3 point of view what it is, because they didn't want to get biased into particular type of Vedanta. And that was also a good exposure, because it made me realize, how wonderful is Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, actually. And then also Nyaya and Vaisheshika, there were 2 semesters courses, basic of Nyaya, and whatever is needed for learning shloka, learning the scriptures ahead of time. Actually, the way the MA they organized is also very nice, because they told this all you need for you to go ahead and study Shastras on your own. Actually, that's the whole purpose of the MA. But and then Mimamsa is nothing but one. This is also another branch of Sanskrit. That's also 1 semester. Now the thing is, essentially, all the 2 years study I have to now condense in this 1 year program, and that too only once a week class. But whereas what we have done is we learned in Sanskrit medium. There were 6 subjects per semester, and each subject were having 30 hours, actually 45 hours of contact classes, each subject. And the classes were 6 days a week for 2 years. Okay, Monday to Saturday. And daily there is 1.5 hour live session and 2 to 3 years, 3 hours of self-study. This I imposed on myself, this one, because I felt I didn't come in with lot of Sanskrit background when I did MA, because all my colleagues, they already finished like 4 year Sanskrit programs, and they were very fluent in speaking. But I didn't have much spoken Sanskrit background also. So I felt the only way I can achieve success, or rather get learn properly, is when I work during this MA. So that's why I tasked myself, and with the support of the family, we were able to do. And of course, I turned out to be the best student in the course. That's another thing. Anyways, so, and then what I did is, along with attending the live session, I was also writing notes continuously, because all our exams, assessments, everything are online. So I kept track of my notes so that I can easily review during the exams. So what I want to do is I want to briefly show you my notes, because all this thing what I'm sharing is going to be useful later, what it means for you, actually. So I don't know whether you can see the notes part. 1 minute, I'll see my screen. Yes, you can see. Okay. So this is a sample notes of, I cannot manage this. Okay. Of just 1 semester Vyakarana. It's Vyakarana first, basically, first semester. And you can see this 47 pages. It's written in Sanskrit, because we are meant to, I need to learn, improve my Sanskrit skills. Also, exams, everything I have to write in Sanskrit. So I've made notes based on the classes. That's one thing. And other thing to note is that it's not just transcribing what the teacher spoke. I had to process the information, and I have to organize it according to logical structures. So sometimes the same concept may be repeated after 10 classes. So I have to organize it. Okay, the same concept and some other angle he's expressing here. So, okay, let me put it back there. So that's why if you look at these headings here, for example, it's very clear how the structure is. Background, Varna, Swaraha, Ucharanasthanam, Yatnaha. Maybe I should zoom it a little bit, I don't know. But this one doesn't get zoom. Okay. Then similarly, Sandhi, Ach Sandhi, Hal Sandhi, we'll cover this. Then Ashtadhyayi, what are different types of sutras, Apavada, Pratyaya, special notes on different Pratyayas, Dhatus. Another thing is general questions. See, there are some discussion between the teacher and the students which doesn't fit in any of the syllabus. But for me, I felt important to make a note. I used to write a question about it. What exactly I'm writing, I used to make a question myself. What is it answering, basically? And then write about special words and sandhis. So that way, write special notes on samasas. So this is the way. It's just before the exam, it was very smooth for me. I worked hard through the semester, but at the time of exam, actually I was chilling out because I have the notes. I just have to review it maybe one time and just smooth, right? So this is what I wanted to share so that you all can get a clue how you can prepare your notes actually. Okay. So then, next one is inspiration from Vedanta studies. Specifically within this Vedanta studies, especially that is very close to our heart because we are doing this Gaudiya Vedanta or Gaudiya Darshanam. Ours is also a Vedanta philosophy. So first is we could appreciate the rich Sanskrit heritage of our parampara. It's because in traditional systems, something written in Sanskrit is the one which takes the highest position. Even though maybe our philosophy could have expressed in Bengali or vernacular language, it wouldn't really appeal that much to traditional systems or traditional scholars unless it's written in Sanskrit. So we are very fortunate that our acharyas, Rupa Goswami and Baladev Vidyabhushan, and all the Goswamis, they spend their time and effort to give that rich Sanskrit heritage. Otherwise, we would not have such strong, what to say, cultural value in a way. We could be happy, okay, I know this philosophy, it appeals to me, I like it, I'll follow. That's okay. We can be like that. But if you think about a long-term vision for the society and, how do we stand when compared to other traditional systems, this is very, very paramount contribution actually. And also I could appreciate the convenience of bhakti yoga when compared to advaita. When I heard there's so much struggle, so much to twist everything to prove that Krishna doesn't have qualities. It's like, wow, what a gimmicks they're trying to do. It's like, why don't you just accept Krishna's qualities and just serve him? And similarly, then I felt, based on these Vedanta studies, I need to create, or rather, I had a desire to present our philosophy in same authentic, what to say, systematic way to the Sanskrit audience. So actually, immediately after my MA, I took up this task and I did this Gaudiya Darshanam. Even though my language was not completely Shuddha or pure, uh, I tried because I felt I need to do this contribution, and that's what you'd see in YouTube channel or on the website. We did 18 sessions with my MA colleagues where I presented our philosophy systematically, bringing all the concepts together, everything using based on Dashamula Tattva of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to the Sanskrit audience. So it's presented in Sanskrit language actually. So I tried to do this little contribution, but yeah. And also I had a desire to create the Sangha to study our Acharya's works. Because we were relishing so much when we studied Sahitya or Raghuvamsha or Madhyama Vyayoga and different things together. We laugh, we joke, and each of us read, each of us comment. And the Acharya made the Nataka when we study. He made us do a oral narration of the drama. So each of us were given roles, and we were kind of supposed to get into the role and get into the mood. And we did a oral narration of the drama. It was so wonderful. I was like, oh, our acharyas have written natakas also, right? Like Rupa Goswami has written like Lalita Madhava, Vidagdha Madhava. So I wish we had an audience where we can all study first, and then we can do the same thing. Somehow I had the desire. Then for that, actually, there were two ways to approach. One is the people who know Sanskrit, I can teach our philosophy. That was the Gaudiya Darshanam attempt. Other thing is to teach Sanskrit to the devotees who know the philosophy. And that is happening now, basically. So this is like a twofold approach, trying to get to the place where we can have a Sangha of devotees who understand Sanskrit. So we can relish the Acharya's works natively and contribute and preserve the rich cultural heritage. And another thing I also noticed, but all the paramparas have a very nice detailed website where all their Sanskrit works are easily accessible, searchable in Devanagari format. And then I felt, we don't have such a website. So I had a desire, like, eventually I want to take up this task of creating a website for our Sanskrit works. So these are all came from that interaction in the MA studies. It's like a vision ahead, basically, how I can mold my life to contribute to some extent, how much ever possible. So now let's take a peek. So you may feel, oh wow, we have a very good teacher who is probably qualified and who studied all this, right? But actually, I will contradict whatever I've said so far. So let's take a peek at traditional learning. So how the traditional learning happens. Child is supposed to, it happens from the beginning, very early in the age. There a lot of memorization needs to be done. Amarakosha is like a dictionary. Uh, Dictionary is meant in, is put in a shloka format. So there is 1600 shlokas. All of the kids have to memorize that. There's a memorization of sutras which Panini has given Ashtadhyayi. There are 4,000 sutras continuously in a sequence. And dhatu pata memorization. Dhatu is nothing but a root form of a verb. And there are 2,000 dhatus that the dhatu pata has a verb and a meaning. Like bhu sattayam, bhu is the dhatu which indicates existence. So satayam is a meaning and bhu is the root word of the verb. Like that, eda vruddha. So like that, it goes like this. Just short forms, 2,000. Once you memorize this, it becomes, this is all for people who want to like really contribute literally, who wants to write poems, who wants to write kavyas, everything. This is a foundation needed for them. So everything is in their brain. They don't have to look at the books, everything like that. And Shabdapata memorization. Like these are the tables, Vibhakti tables, at least 100 of them. Okay, once you have all of this, parallelly, you should develop spoken Sanskrit, basic spoken Sanskrit, because these subjects, Shastras, have to be taught in actually Sanskrit language. Then only you understand properly, because there are a lot of technical terms. You cannot translate them to any language. Forget about English, actually. So we'll come to how we are going to handle that. Then after that, then you get entry into Vyakarana and a in-depth study of Vyakarana, and that too in Sanskrit medium. After all this happens, and then after that also it's a oral learning. So, for example, our kids right now are going to this Gurukula. Initially, so far when we were doing homeschooling, we taught them how to write notes, how to revise, and everything. But here the culture is all oral learning. Learning. So 1 hour the teacher will teach the class. Rest of the day, they do chintanam, means they discuss among their colleagues what was taught, any questions from different angles they discuss orally. And next day, they have to submit what they have learned from the previous class, all orally, without writing a single thing. So they are kind of tuned into it now. So it's a very wonderful process because our brain has so much capacity actually, we don't know. Once we start writing, we feel, oh, it's there on the book, right? So I don't need to keep in the brain. Of course, we cannot do that. We are not trained for that memorization capacity. It has to come from childhood. We have to use notes. We have to write all the things possible. But the child has great potential if it's trained from childhood. Okay. So now continuing, similarly, who is a qualified teacher then? Definitely not I, because as teacher is a sincere student who studied for years in a Gurukula system. So in Sanskrit medium, they have dedicated their years in serving the Guru and learnt it in a humble, menial way. So that person knows in and out, like my teacher, Tilak Rao Mahadaya. And also now we are trying to tackle or rather share this knowledge with devotees. Then obviously we need devotees who are intimately familiar with our philosophy so that we can relate the concepts. So they are not so dry. We can relate with our philosophy. So then, okay, I can maybe invite, given the overwhelming response, okay, feeling unqualified, I can invite my Sanskrit teachers to teach. They can do it. But the thing is, they like to talk in Sanskrit language. We don't know, the audience don't know the Sanskrit language, and they cannot relate with this devotee concepts. And perhaps they will do it as traditionally as possible, and they would not, uh, you know, it's difficult for us to access that. Very difficult. There's a high bar. Um, okay, so the only people I could think of is maybe Haripashad Prabhu, Radhika Raman Prabhu, maybe other people I don't know could do it actually. They fit into both buckets. Their childhood, from childhood, they have learned, and also they are devotees, very well versed in our philosophy, and they themselves are practicing very nice devotees. But right, how busy Haripashad Prabhu is. He's already, staying away from family and doing so much for devotee. Giving the bhakti rasa and smaranam and all the main concepts which have to be kind of revived. He's already dedicating to that. So actually, one time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, oh, if Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, he could have spread this mission all over the world. Why he didn't do it? And Prabhupada said he has left some job for us, some task for us. So that's how I feel, all these gurus maybe would have easily taken up this task. But there is something perhaps I could contribute. That's the reason, maybe this opportunity is there. So all you have is actually not a qualified teacher, is the best use of a bad bargain. Okay. So that's why that fixes my mood actually. See, Sarvatra Jayam Icchetu Putra Shishyadi Chet Parajayam. Okay, that's the way. So it's saying where everywhere we like to win. Okay, Parantu. But with the son and with the disciple, we like to accept defeat. That's the pride of a real teacher. Okay. So, what is that? So, my mood will be of sharing and service. So, whatever I've learned from my teachers, I'm going to share with all of you. So, I pray that all of you can learn nicely so you can actually enhance the curriculum and go ahead and teach to so many people and, excel whatever knowledge I have and contribute to the mission phenomenally. And my desire is to just share the joy of decoding shlokas. So, initially, before I began my studies, that's what my desire was after going through all the churning. Now, when I read the shlokas with the Vyakyana, with the, this thing, it's so joyful. It sometimes takes time because I'm working hard on it. I need to also improve my skills. But once you crack the shloka, no, it's yours. That's it. Next time, when you read the shloka, the meaning comes to you. So that's a joy, so much wonderful journey. But we have to work hard. So sometimes, and of course, during this course, sometimes maybe I may be too much into the role of a, facilitator. So I may perhaps chastise or be strong. So please take it that as a, my service and forgive me and continue to give your blessings. Okay. So what is our approach then? We know we cannot approach traditionally. We cannot cover the full Vyakarana. We are going to present in English for this audience who are aware of English, and then only essentials needed to understand shlokas will be taught. So essentially, maybe 1/4 of my M.A studies perhaps will fit in. So I need to go churn my notes and pick the essential elements, what is needed, and put it together and present it. That's what we'll do. So this is not like full Vyakarana study. You cannot go ahead and say, "Oh, I learned Sanskrit." We are just learning little bit of it. That's it, and we are going to be application oriented, so that way it's easy. We can just understand the combinations, learn it, maybe make charts and put it on around our home, and then start using, we seeing many applications and ingrain in our brains how the pattern works. Okay, another thing is called Arundhati Darshana Nyaya, right? Where the traditional system, Arundhati is a very small star here. To show that star, but sometimes we show a bigger star which is easily visible. During marriages they show. Then after that we tell, oh, come to the right, there is another star called Vashishta. Then come to the right, then there is Arundhati. So like that. So we are going to use the concepts which we already know, like for example suffixes or other patterns which I am familiar with my computer science or a logical background, whatever. And I'll try to use them so that you can understand that easily and then bridge the gap to the concepts from the Sanskrit. So essentially, this is the meaning of Arindhati Nakshatranaya, to guide someone from a known, easily perceptible object to an unknown, subtle object using a step-by-step approach. Okay, and we are going to use a lot of examples from Gaudiya Siddhanta because all of us know the shlokas, all of us have memorized, so we have little bit vocabulary. So now when we use the shlokas, now the shlokas kind of lighten up more for us. So it will make us easy. And then we will use all the modern tools possible to make the learning easy, charts, tables, state diagrams, everything. And tables will be Shabda Pata and Dhatu table are very important to be memorized. So that will be taught once in the class, and I will give you YouTube resources where you can continuously listen and practice to be memorized at your own pace. But that is needed actually in order to understand shloka. Okay. Next one is Yukta Vairagya. So we are going to use all the tools possible, like for example, ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever. I'll guide you what to do so that we can assist our learning, but not to replace our learning. Okay, so don't use it for completing your homeworks. Use it only to when you get stuck, you want some answers. Okay, so that's our approach. And later, somebody gets a taste into this, if they want pursue deeper studies, we can always help you guide or do some course around that, like Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi or something. Okay. Then the mood and the mission, we are here to learn, right? I am also here to learn because they say the teacher learns much more than the student. So I'm happy to again go back and churn my notes and prepare something so I can learn by teaching all of you. And all of you also, actually, I looked at the Google form responses. So many of you are like very high positions in ISKCON society, and many of them are years of Krishna consciousness, and perhaps many of you are very advanced and older than me and very advanced. So I'm actually in a way I'm in a fix to do this service, like how I'm going to approach. So we can. I only seek your blessings so that you can empower me in this service. And so we all are going to keep aside our designations. Sarvobhati Vinirmuktam, our designations of temple president or whatever. All perhaps you will see in this group maybe a new member, new bhakta, and you together. So so we all are going to leave all our designations. We are just going to be students to learn. And our mood is not to find faults or become proud. I'll give you an example. This is a verse in Bhagavad Gita where Sanjaya says actually, eva muktva hrishikesham gudakesha parantapaha nayotsya iti govindam ushva tushnim bhabuvaha. So these are words where Arjuna actually says to Krishna that I'm not going to fight, nayotsya. And then he became silent. Okay, that's what Sanjaya is saying to the Dhritarashtra. So if you see the word, right, the shloka, it is given na yotsya. Okay. But if you see word to word, it becomes na yotsye, na yotsye. I shall not fight. So somebody who's immature in Sanskrit, they may think, oh, there's a mistake. Oh, there's a typo, or there's something wrong. There's a mistake. Now I'm a scholar. It has to be like this. How is it like this? So so we actually, as I said, we are just scratching the surface. We don't know, we'll not know anything more in Sanskrit than maybe a little bit more from what we are right now. So let's not go in the mood of thinking that, we know everything and try to find faults with our Acharya's works. Because there's so many clauses which we would not cover perhaps, and we will get unraveled later in our journey. So we should just be very humble and use this as much as possible in our Krishna consciousness. And maybe some of you are learning this to help your child's journey. So that can be a good. And to please our Gurujanas, because many of Gurujanas are kind of suggesting this course. So, and then main thing, this is where my heart is, to preserve, study, and continue the rich cultural Sanskrit heritage. So first is preserve by creating a website, study together, and then continue. Perhaps some of you would become like, a person who can write new natakas or new shlokas. We can enhance and continue the tradition. Okay. And then to pioneer Krishna consciousness in Sanskrit domain. Actually, this Sanskrit domain and Krishna consciousness is just starting out. The whole field is there for us now. Sky is the limit, actually. There's so much work we have to do for kids. We can create board books, we can create story books based on Krishna consciousness, and all the curriculum we can build so that children can have a very smooth, enjoyable learning of Sanskrit. So all these are my passions. I'm just sharing a bit of my heart. So towards we are wrapping up here. Logistics, everybody knows this. Again, there's 1 to 1.5 hour class, only once a week. I'm just telling only. You can imagine, you can understand why I'm saying only once a week. So 6:30 a.m. or 7 p.m. Okay. Same session will be repeated. So either of them you can attend, no problem. And there is no restriction who will attend what. Okay. It's up to you. Okay. And okay, this I added later. Prerequisites are ability to read Hindi or Devanagari. Because even though I have resources to share how to learn Hindi, Devanagari. But if I start presenting in um, English, first of all, it's difficult for me. And the thing is, in the sense, I'm naturally now equipped to read in Devanagari. And other thing is, our tools which I share, they natively work with Devanagari. So unless we train ourselves to start seeing that, it will be difficult for us. And all of you also, I encourage from now on, please, now whenever you do your Shastric study, please try to read from the Devanagari. So you get again revive or rather increase your speed in reading Devanagari. That will help you. And yeah, you can join this session. Okay, these sessions will be very interactive, unless this first session, which it's more like one way, because I'm going to ask a lot of questions. That's how I judge how the learning is happening. So, everybody, please, whoever wants to participate, have a good mic, good noise-free environment, and on your video as much as possible so I can see how the learning is happening. Okay, and we are thinking it's going to take 50 sessions until May 22, 2027. So let's see how it goes, okay? Because I tune the thing based on how the live audience is receiving. So even though you may feel, oh, I'll listen to the record and follow it, if the live audience is not grabbing the concepts which I'm telling, I may have to repeat or I may have to slow down. So it's all depends on that. Okay. Then we'll do session live on Zoom. Next, okay, how do we access recordings and everything, right? All materials will be accessed by our website, because that will be a central place. It will be easy, because if you start, of course, the recordings are on the YouTube, but then YouTube has its own ads. You'll see other videos. So why to get distracted? The same video you can access through the website. So there is no ads. You can be very immersed in your learning, and you need to log in with your Gmail ID. It's free, no charges are asked, but you have to first log in so that we don't, kind of allow it to be open access for everybody. Only people who are registered in the WhatsApp group can log in. And the recordings and the materials, I will be sharing PPT or the PDF of each session there for you. So it's easy for you to make notes. That will be accessible as a downloadable there. And the quizzes. So I'm thinking of creating some quizzes. I'll come to it in a minute. And the grades also will be there. The syllabus will be tuned based on live audience assessment. So I'm thinking, given the serious interest, initially I didn't think about it, but now I made a plan that we will do MCQ based quiz once in every 6 sessions. So there perhaps will be maybe 10 quizzes like this. So you get a chance to revise all the concepts and be ready. But this will be timed test. That means there'll be a time of 1 hour. When the quiz starts, it gets over in 1 hour. So by that time, you should prepare all your notes, be ready. So you're ready for the test. You do the test and that's it. Okay. But you will be given 2 weeks period to finish the test. So that way you can do at your own pace. But once you start the test, there's a time limit for that. Okay. This is how we did our test in our MA. So I wanted to give the same experience. And devotees who have finished all the quizzes and passed through all the quizzes will be allowed chance to present the final presentations after this series. Because given the volume, I need to have a way to filter somehow. So I felt this is a good way to filter. Okay. Okay, then how the learning happens. This is a shloka you would have heard. Acharyad padam adatte padam shishya swamedhaya padam swabrahmacharibhya padam kalakramena cha. So there are four quarters by which pada means quarter, by which the learning happens. The first is through the teacher, Acharyat Padam, okay, from the teacher. This is the Panchami Vibhakti. So what it requires for you is a dedicated listening of the live class or recording. So we cannot do this like how we do for Krishna Conscious class, like because we love the classes, right? We like to listen much more. So sometimes we do while cooking, sometimes we do while driving, that's good. Okay. But because it's very technical, the concepts are built up gradually. So if we miss one session, you'll miss a lot, and better we catch up before you go to the next class, or you can now catch up the recordings at your own pace. So you don't have to bother to join the live series. Okay. It's up to you based on your current personal situation, whatever it is, but make sure you cover the previous sessions before you go to the next session. Okay. Because we are building up. Okay. And better we sit and go back to our school, like sit and listen, make notes, everything with the paper and pen. And another one with Swamedhaya, means one's own experience, one's own application. So make notes in Devanagari. In the next session, we'll teach you how to type Devanagari in Mac as well as Windows, and complete your homework. So every session, there'll be homework, rather like a guided application thing for you, which you can apply at your own pace during the week. And there'll be quizzes, as I mentioned, once in 6 weeks. And think about the concepts rest of the day. Whatever you learned when you read some shloka, then see how the concepts are applying. So your learning will happen not only in the class, but throughout the week. That's the idea. Then Swabrahmacharibhya Padam. So another one is with the other colleagues or classmates. So many of you know all your people from Seattle. There's people from Seattle, people from Houston, people from Delhi, the people from IDS group or Rompad Maharaj group. So you can make your own short WhatsApp groups if your people are interested, they're like-minded, and you can have some revision sessions, or maybe some things you can discuss among yourselves if you wish. I will also try to create a forum where people can express the questions and others can answer. I'm thinking about it, what to do other than WhatsApp group. I will try. I'll let you next week. Then Kala Kramena Padam. So this will happen after this 1 year. I wish to start a Shastra, one of our Shastras, and read together.
So with little bit of experience ahead of you, I can help you guide how to now unpack what we have learned and how to apply in a real learning of Vyakyana or a shloka. Because other than just the language, actually, the Acharya's language is very, very intricate. Especially the sandhis, everything. There is a particular way they have written, the style, everything we need to know. So I may have to do a session of little bit concepts of Nyaya and Mimamsa, everything together once before we jump into the Shastra together. But we can do that. So if you wish to continue your journey ahead and see how it's applied, welcome. This is just a beginning. Okay, next, what I need from you is obviously there's no upfront fees. We are doing it as a Brahmanical Seva. So at the end of this 1 year, if you feel inspired, it helped you, if you wish to contribute, we are welcome. We have non-profit organizations both in India and US. You're more than welcome to contribute. So we can, use that money for resources like building books for kids and other things. And patience. So you just need to work diligently, just waiting for that final day where you could understand the shloka on your own. So give yourself some time and work hard and understand the concepts nicely, and also be patient with me. Sometimes there are messages like, oh, some even though we messaged the June 13th was the first class, somebody was asking, please give me recording of the previous week's session. I was like, what session? He said, it didn't even happen session. So, please be kind. I'm new to this volume. Actually, maybe I'm not equipped. Actually, I may not have the tolerance. So think before you answer anything, ask any question individually for me. We'll try to open the WhatsApp group so that other people also can respond. But check, because I try to be organized. Everything is organized on the website, everything is organized on the WhatsApp description. So you see, they should have made a message somewhere, or you ask some other people from within your group something about it before you try to. Um, so do your due diligence, please. So that will help us. So I can have some more sanity. So I can serve you better. Okay. And some dedication and determination. Okay. So be determined. Initially, it feels like, wow, I'm going to do, but slowly things wind down. So unless you start to understand the concepts, you may lose enthusiasm. So from the beginning, we need to have a consistent dedication. So I would expect how much time you would need. I would expect easily, 1.5 hour live session and maybe 3-4 hours during the week. If that much time you can dedicate, you will really swim through. But if you feel you cannot do for some reason, no problem. YouTube videos are always available, right? Anytime you can catch up at your own pace. Okay. So, and also eventually you will realize that it may not be for everyone. Even though everybody says, "Oh, I want to learn Sanskrit," some people may find it too much, too technical, or not for me. That's all fine, no problem. That's natural. Everybody has. Usually, it is said that a lot of samskaras are needed. So we will see how it goes. Then go at your pace. Recordings are always available. And other thing I need from you is space in your heart to, so I can, this vision of what we can do something to serve our acharyas and the rich cultural heritage they have given in Sanskrit. So somehow we can contribute and assist in that. If you can have little bit space for that vision, I would really appreciate. If your heart is already full with already other missions, other ways to contribute the mission, that's very good. Please give us your blessings. So some people who are inspired in this space can continue. That's all. And okay, now let's take a brief moment to remember, close your eyes and remember our Gurujanas and pray, like take a sankalpa, the determination for this whole year to give us a strength and dedication and determination so that we can do it in a proper mood, and that there will not be any obstacles in this path, and that we can learn the shlokas just so that we can give pleasure to Shri Radha and Krishna and all the Guru Parampara. So we'll just take 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay, so we can continue. So conclusion, what we have covered is all this we discussed already. I don't want to go through it again. It's just a agenda slide is coming as a conclusion. That's all. So now we can open up for any questions anybody has or any thoughts or comments. So usually that's what happens. 1 hour will be the instruction and then half an hour for any questions anybody has. Okay, Abhay Mohan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for taking up this service. Very, very helpful for us. And I just had a couple of questions regarding your the way that you are teaching. Maybe you covered that in the slides. I just little bit I think missed it. So just wanted to confirm it again. You said that you will be teaching the same content 2 times on Saturday. You said 6:30 a.m. and also 7 p.m. And both these will be like same live classes or
That's a surprise, Prabhuji, because this recording, so actually, practically, it will not be possible for me. So that's what I'm going to announce in the 7 p.m. class. So what I thought is, but at the same time, I didn't want to just tell that, oh, all of you people just hear the recording on your own. So I wanted to really do something to help. So what we thought is like there will be a scheduled viewing of the recording of the morning class. And at the
got
same
it.
time, at the end, I will be coming 5 minutes before the session. I'll be coming in. So with that audience, if they have any specific questions, anything, I can answer that with 10, 15 minutes. Because I don't have the purity or the patience to repeat the same session with the same enthusiasm, perhaps, and at the same time, practically also, because there will be 2 other children courses I need to take up in this semester, and it's too it's not it should not get too much toil for my family also. So that's how we'll do, Prabhuji. But it does. But actually, watching a recording will be also equally potent because usually what happens in the live thing, sometimes there's a lot of pauses when I call somebody, they don't answer. So I edit them out. So the recording will be very, very, what we say, up to the mark, or rather, without a lot of time lapses. And also, you have a flexibility to pause, re-hear again, and go on. Of course, you can all listen to the recording at your pace, but there'll be scheduled viewing so that the devotees can come together again with the same, who have the same intention, and they can, you feel like still, there is some kind of a. Otherwise, people will drop it. Nobody will make time to hear. Okay. Is
Got
it
it,
okay?
Mataji.
Yeah.
And in addition to this this recording viewing at 7 p.m., you will also be sharing the recording in the sense if we want, we can watch it at our own pace as well, Mataji.
Yeah, that's what in the website you will have to log in. Okay, I didn't show that. 1 second, I'll show. Okay, so you can see, right? This is a website. If anybody doesn't know what's the website name, the idea is the Krishna has unlimited qualities, right? Is a Purna Avatara. But I am like a small lamp trying to share his glories. It's like that's how the vision is of this website, Light of Godhead. Okay, then the thing is, you there in the courses page, you'll see, you go to this course. This is the course. Once you click here, you'll get like this, sign in to enroll. All you have to do is you'll sign in like this. You'll be able to link it to one of your Google accounts. No payment is required. Once you do that, everything will be in this course page. So first of all, if you haven't done, please read the description here. What is an overview and course curriculum? All these things. What did we divided in modules? I don't know ahead of time how much each module will take because it's all dynamic based on the audience. So, but then at least I structured it in different modules and the outcomes are given. What do you learn after each module? And so what you have to do, if you log in, then these things get open up, lessons. So the videos will come here, right here. And there will be other tabs here for assignments and quizzes and everything will come here, and materials. So if I add more materials, it will all come in this tab here. Like, okay, if I have to show, let me go to other course. Yeah, this course we finished just now. Yeah, so like this, and then again, it takes you back to that. So if you come here, So same place, you have overview, announcement, nothing is there much in that, lessons. So you will have lessons like this, everything sequentially. So you can even track what you have completed if you want to take up on your own at your own pace, right? So I finished 2 lessons, let me do. It's like a Udemy format, and then you can like click anything, for example, start. Then you will get the description and the video. You can watch it right from here or go to YouTube and watch. No problem, you can complete a lesson like that. And then the materials. So basically here, in general, you'll have materials. Every session, I will share you the PDFs here. So you don't have to, you can use the PDF to make your notes. So you can just download. Just one caution is that, you don't hopefully put it on internet for everybody's access. So we can kind of preserve the content. So that's it. So everything will be in the website. All the recordings, materials, quizzes, everything here. Okay. So it's much more centralized. We're having so many different things. Okay, Prabhuji?
Got it, Mataji. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. Okay, Srijita, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the wonderful class. Thank you so much. I have one question. Mataji, could you briefly explain us a little bit about uh, Jiva Goswami's Harinamamrita Vyakaranam? Like just little bit
Okay.
describe.
Actually, before I do that, I couldn't see everybody's faces, but somebody just mentioned, I think His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Swami Maharaj is there among the audience. So Maharaj so kind that somehow is allowing me the opportunity. So please welcome Maharaj. Please give us your blessings. I don't know, Maharaj can talk little bit and encourage us.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavat pranams, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. We're so happy to be here with you. I'm sorry I'm very early. I'm in Germany at the moment, so I haven't been on my camera, but I've been listening. So thank you to yourself for making the time and giving us the opportunity to learn. I'll try my best to be with all of you. All of you are far more advanced than me, but it's my desire to learn. So thank you so much, Mataji. We're deeply grateful for your time, your sacrifice, and your encouragement, and all the attention is wonderful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Okay. Okay, regarding Harinamamrita Vyakarana, so Jiva Goswami Prabhupada has studied all the Vyakaranas. Actually, he learned a lot of other Vyakarana also, other than Panini Vyakarana. And he has created a grammar so that based on the holy names of Krishna. So it's much, much more relishable for devotees because we always like to remember Krishna and talk about Krishna, right? So that's how he has given, and he envisioned that devotees will learn that at certain point. So it's a very nice contribution. But one thing to note is that, first of all, I studied in a different system. So that's what I will contribute to. And there is no harm if devotees are already studying Harnam Vyakarana. Actually, I had a lot of discussion about this because I myself was not in Sanskrit field. I asked my people who are experienced mentors about this, especially, what to give to our children and everything. There were many, pros and cons. But one thing they mentioned is like, Harinam Vyakarana is like a cream of a cake. And Panini Vyakarana is like, the not so tasty, dry part of the cake, right? So if somebody, especially children who are, trained in learning or preparing the dry part of the cake, when they get to Harinam Vyakarana, they relish like anything. But if somebody is exposed to that soft and sweet part of the cream first, they will not be able to handle Panini Vyakarana. So, you can hopefully understand now. Hopefully, it's a little bit okay, right, Mataji, what I mentioned?
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Navadvi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for the class. Just a few clarifications. So you will be compressing your M.A. studies into this 1 year of a course. Is this right?
Yes, Prabhuji, yeah.
Okay. And is the morning class the live class? And I think
Yes.
the morning class will be the live class.
Yeah, because they
Yeah,
time-wise.
yeah.
Okay, just wanted to confirm. I heard Abhay Mohan Prabhu's query. Just wanted to ensure this. I wish to join the live class. It works for me also.
Okay,
Uh,
Prabhu, thank you.
then would you also be sharing your notes? You shared yeah, during the class.
No, because it's very voluminous, Prabhuji. Like, it's written in Sanskrit also. And it's like, and it's too detailed, too much to process.
Okay.
And it's not just that reference. I've studied Vyakarana in 3 different ways from 3 different books. So I have to collate everything and figure out a way to present the current audience and the current skill set, everything. So that's the reason it not be much useful, I feel. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
Okay, Divyansh Prabhuji.
Mataji, my question is not about the subject, but your personal experience that you studied or Sanskrit in Advait philosophy, Dvait and Vishisht Advait, and also Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. So, what are your true views on that? Like you studied all of them, so we have a curiosity that philosophy that we learned, how much exalted that is.
So actually, I will tell you one during the course, Prabhuji, like Vedanta Advanced, when we are finishing up, all the people who attended the course or the MS students, they didn't know anything about Vedanta, right? So they were taught these 3 Vedantas. Then the students were asking the teacher, "Oh, Acharya, this is so confusing. When I'm studying Advaita Vedanta, I feel, yes, this is it. This is complete. This is wonderful. But the moment I jump to Dvaita Vedanta, I feel, yes, this is good. This is complete. I will study this. And then same thing with Vishishta Advaita. So now I'm confused. Can you please tell me what specific thing I need to study, implement in my life? So the point I'm trying to tell is all the systems are very, very, traditional, and they are all authorized systems, and they have a rich cultural heritage. And just by, we just scratch the surface. Our Acharya also told, now don't think your such and such philosophy is better than such and such philosophy. All you're learning very little of this, because students spend 10 years, 12 years studying just one branch of it. So all we did little bit, at least comparative study between the thing. That's it. But all of them are bona fide systems in their own, and they have their own anuyayis or like followers who follow. And we know what Srila Prabhupada talks about, especially Advaita philosophy, right? For us, we are not recommended to hear Advaita philosophy, and so that's for sure. But we cannot be very superficial and or act very arrogant, say my thing is better, and other things are tucha or low class. These are all, these are still have Gurukula systems, and the most ancient system is Advaita system, and they have a purpose, so that those people who are inclined to impersonal Brahman, they don't come and disturb the devotees who are following the personal path, right? In a way, they are busy, they are doing their own sadhana, and eventually bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. So eventually they may come, or they may feel bhakti is a stepping stone, eventually they'll come to jnana. So let them, if we do whatever they want, let them be happy, and we'll also be happy. So okay, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, now Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your effort, Mataji. We really appreciate that. And also, I wanted to ask you that I'm sure your notes that you are sharing on the website will be enough, but do we need to purchase some book also that will support us with? Do you suggest something, or this is enough?
Yeah, this is enough, because that's what Mataji, I'm not picking as it is from any book. That's the whole thing. We have to make a custom
Okay.
curriculum. So I have to kind of assimilate
Okay.
everything together. Maybe with all of your blessings, after doing this for 2-3 years, maybe we will be able to come up with the notes or a book which is tied to devotee audience, so that later on it will be easy for devotees. But right now we don't have. But if I think there's something will be useful, I will definitely be sharing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, Tarun Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for starting this course, Mataji. Mataji, I wanted to ask one thing very frankly. See, sometimes we become too, like, uh, बहुत हम लोग सोचते हैं कि हम बहुत सारे कोर्स कर लें, तो we enroll in Bhakti Shastri, we enroll in some local study which is going on a weekly basis and things like that, and then we have our jobs also, so regularly we are doing. So I'm just trying to understand that you said 1.5 hour of class and 3 to 4 hours per week of self study, and currently I'm struggling with my Bhakti Shastri attendance and classes also. So I'm just thinking practically, should I take this, or should I keep it after my Bhakti Shastri is completed? What is your recommendation, and what do you think? Like, I don't want to uh, 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 do this just for the sake of doing it. So just wanted to understand from you, Mataji.
Yeah. So how long will the Bhakti Shastri more will take, Prabhuji?
Uh, at least 6 more months, Mataji. The way I'm doing my pace and how it is with the office work. So that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, so it's your decision, Prabhuji. And if definitely, otherwise what will happen? Of course, one way is you could just do one listening in the live class. Because sometimes it's called Shravana Samskara. Anyway, we need to listen twice or maybe more times, actually, sometimes. So if you want to just take it like, okay, while doing Bhakti Shastri, I'm at least going to attend live session just for hearing sake. And I will not do
Yeah.
any homework. Do that for 6 months, do that. And then after 6 months, now use your Bhakti Shastri time to again go back and go deeper now. So that's also one way. So you can just catch up with the momentum, what's happening. Still, you're not going to lose that. And other thing, Prabhuji, secretly, I'll tell you, sometimes when we have a sincere and very strong desire for something, somehow time comes up.
Yeah. No, I can
Actually,
understand that Krishna helps with that, but
yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm just, yeah. So because we will get more efficient, we will understand where we are wasting time. We will figure out, we'll squeeze bits and pieces and we'll do something. But at the same time, I don't want you to be so overstressed also, because everything is given so that anybody can do it at their own pace. So you can make the call. However, it's practical for you, Prabhuji, with all the responsibilities.
Thank you, Madaji. And one more thing I wanted to know, you mentioned local study groups people can make, like whoever is attending the class. But sometimes we don't know who, sometimes somebody is joining from the neighborhood and the next door also, and we want to know that he is part of the same course. So will we be creating some data sheet or an Excel sheet where people will mention their location or something like that, so that it is easy for people to make local groups and things like that?
Okay, Prabhuji. I already shared a Google group actually. There I didn't ask, I asked for location. So I'll circulate this again. And then I will, once everybody fills it, I will share the spreadsheet with everybody.
All right. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay,
Thanks a lot.
Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Suradhyakshana Prabhu. Daksha Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much for, I really express my sincere gratitude to this wonderful seva which you are doing it for our purpose. And I have taken a personal sankalp that no matter how much I am able to grasp, whatever you will be teaching us, but I will be there till the last lecture, and I will put my sincere efforts to see that I at least gain some kind of knowledge from what you are giving and whatever you are sharing with us. So it's my real sincere gratitude for your seva, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I pray that all of you will get the necessary strength to continue from my side. All of you do it, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you, Prabhu.
much.
Thank you. Any other, I think all the questions are done. Any other, okay, what else is, I think that's all right. Okay, Jagat Guru Prabhuji is asking.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna, Deji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. So, first of all, thank you so much for the service. I'm from Chile, South America, very far from Bharata Parsha. And actually, it's night here. And so, my question is that you have some experience with devotees who are non, they don't have any knowledge about Hindi before, because I love Hindi. I actually was in GBC College recently in India 3 months ago when I came before of that, but I don't know too much about Hindi. So do you think it's still possible to fulfill and to learn?
Yeah, so the thing is, you may audibly understand what I'm speaking because the words may be familiar, but the PowerPoint I will be presenting in Devanagari. So, so I will again share with you the tools how you can learn Devanagari if you're interested. Okay, and if you can gradually familiarize yourself with the script, and while the lessons are going, you'll be able to gain more, recognition and everything. But if it's too much for you, then what I would suggest is you can work on that for a few months, become expert in recognizing and reading, writing, and then take the course at your pace.
Excellent. I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
We speak only Spanish here.
Okay. Okay. So what we'll do is, so we'll wrap up with offering everything what we have learned to Shri Krishna, Shri Radharani and Krishna, with Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hare Krishna. Okay. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week. I think there's not much notes to be written this week, I guess, but so we'll start fully into Sanskrit from next week, starting with the letters. Starting with the letters, how to pronounce them, Samyukta Aksharani, everything. And then we'll build up the foundation gradually. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.